At this point, Kyle was beginning to lose hope of outrunning his friend. But one thought consoled him. Johan is fat, and all he has to do is outrun Johan.
No matter what we went through, it was me and my crew.
One day, Kyle, or K the Slapper as is known to his online friends, was bored out of his tits. For you see, dear viewers, Kyle was not only trapped in math class, but he could not stand the voice of his substitute teacher droning on and on about A plus B equals C.
This bitch is still teaching. Do you see this shit?
Did you know that some of them was letters? Yes, bitch, that's for words and sentences.
For you see, dear viewers, Kyle's mind was occupied by Mrs. Mrs. Van der Merwe, his regular math teacher, who was unfortunately off sick for the entire week. Now, in Kyle's defense, it's not that the substitute teacher was doing a bad job. No. It's just that the young Kyle found Mrs. Van der Merwe's teaching methods very inspirational.
Oh, my queen! Oh, you're so naughty!
Kyle was so motivated by Mrs. Van der Merwe that Kyle was the only child in his school to get straight A's in math and F's everywhere else.
I want to reach 1 million likes. So please,
Kyle threw his hands up in the air out of sheer boredom, like a slave begging for his freedom. Kyle mustered up the courage to yell, "Sir, I must go wee-wee." Before Mr. What's-his-face could utter the words, "Yes, you may go," Kyle had already run out the classroom, down the stairs, and straight to the school's entrance. For you see, dear viewers, Kyle had hatched a clever plan. Out of concern for Mrs. Double D, what's her name?
What was that old lady's name again? It doesn't matter what her name was!
Kyle had resolved himself to go visit Mrs. Van der Merwe and take care of her in a time of great sickness and need. On this day of days, Kyle would skip school. As Kyle beelined for the exit, he was swiftly joined by his two friends, Jonathan and Musa. It would seem that the school had a terrible outbreak of the piss.
So let's not take the piss here.
As soon as Task Force Simp reached the exit, Kyle spotted his principal, Mr. Nell. The one thing you should know about Mr. Nell is that he's a long-distance runner. In fact, in that year he would participate in the Comrades Marathon, which is about 88 kilometers long. Or in freedom units, 38 million KFC buckets laid side to side. As the boys tried to avoid Mr. Nell's ever-piercing gaze, Johan urged the boys to act casually. And Kyle noted that Musa's pants legs were touching his shoes. So Kyle tried to act casually by adapting a little bounce to his step. And the most terrifying words pierced his ears. "Sauron is looking this way," Johan hollered. As Kyle picked up his pace, he noticed that Musa's pants legs had risen, and now he could see his friend's red socks. "Uh-oh," cried out Johan. "Sauron is coming."
Fly, you fools!
Kyle got his head down and ran as fast as he could, but he noticed that he could never catch up to his friend Musa, who was slowly getting away from him. Kyle lowered his eyes slightly to notice that Musa's pants legs were riding high, almost touching his knees. Musa was running faster than Sonic. At this point, Kyle was beginning to lose hope of outrunning his friend. But one thought consoled him. Johan is fat, and all he has to do is outrun Johan. As the boys were making their daring escape, Musa, who was at the head of the pack, made a right-hand turn into Peach Street. Kyle quickly followed his friend and presumed that Johan had followed them as well. Hang on a minute, this is Peach Street. Oof, barely had Kyle's tiny little mind processed their mistake when he heard a loud slap.
Slap like now.
The slap was followed by a loud scream. I'd like to pause the video at this point and specify that Kyle swears by what happened next. So after he heard the loud slap behind him, he swears that he saw Johan, the fattest kid in the group, run past him at double the speed. He heard a voice behind him say in the calmest way possible, "Hardloop jou moeskol." Now for those of you who don't speak Afrikaans, this roughly translates to "Run, you son of a bitch." And upon hearing these very words, Kyle was struck by lightning and a sharp pain ran down his back. And Kyle at that instant was motivated to run faster than he had ever before. And all of a sudden, Kyle realized that he was leading the pack. The boys ran a lap down Peach Street. As they were coming back to near the entrance, Kyle saw the vice principal and the school's gym teacher waiting for them at the entrance. Oh, alas, Team Simp had no means of escape, so the boys turned left, back down Peach Street. And as Kyle locked eyes with the gym teacher who had begun his pursuit, Kyle had what alcoholics call a moment of clarity. And on that day, he knew the struggle was indeed real.
That's how it went when we were kids.
Oh, by the way, oh, damn. Oh, what the?